If you were ever unsure about Asa Mitaka, about her emotions or how she deals with things and how this combines very nicely with Denji as a character, this chapter paints the clearest picture for you. You will no longer be confused. You will 100% understand what she is. So much so that you get a very unfortunate outcome, an ending for her character, because to put simply, she gives up. She does not want to fight the emotional distress that is caused by the trauma, the large amounts of trauma that has burrowed inside of herself. A lot of this stuff is bottled away, and when you do that, it kind of turns into a ticking time bomb that sometime within the future, this bottle will fill too much and it will explode, and everything that you've ever experienced, everything that you've put away and didn't want to confront is going to come bursting out. And this is one of those times. It's the reason why you see her reflect on things that we have never seen before, because she's bottled it so deeply. She's moved on from it and forgotten about it, but it still has plagued her emotionally, mentally, even physically. It gives her anxiety, it causes her stress, it puts her into these depressive states, and you can't help but feel really bad for her. So to have one of the worst devils amplify that, bring it back out onto its surface, and to show Asa the easy way of dealing with it being one of the worst ways, she can't help but want to take it. Unfortunately for Asa, this would cost her her life if there wasn't someone to save her. I think this works well with the context of the chapter, how it builds up towards it, and basically what she is seeking. Even though she has all of these problems, all of these things that she's willing to give up, she has a regret. That regret is cut off, but the implication you get is that she wishes with all of her heart that even if it was only one person, that she could fall deeply in love with them and experience that for the first time. For me, this is effortlessly navigated. It's hard to expect someone like Asa to try to fight, especially against someone like Fall, who is very convincing, who is making it easier for her, who isn't trying to annihilate or destroy her in a weird way, but more so to subtly seek out her own demise. Does that make sense? Even though some of the chapter is filled with destruction, it's more so just to allow Fall to get access to Asa, and then she tries to convince her. It works. Yoru can't do anything, which is kind of another sad part about it as well, because they're very different in a lot of ways. The panic on Yoru's face is unmatched. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what happens to herself if Asa gets sucked up back into hell. Theoretically, Yoru as well would end up in hell. Even though she takes that option, she gives up fighting and leaves us with that regret, that love that she really wanted. You can kind of view it as a starting point, that her life from here is going to be very drastically different because she accepted all of it. She didn't fight. She honestly gave up, and that is kind of a big hurdle in itself. It's a scary one, and in this case, it's heartbreaking because it leads to her demise, but in a sense, it's empowering because she recognizes the one regret that she wishes she could fight for. So what interrupts the last thing that she is remembering, which is regret? Someone saves her and yanks her out of this free fall that she's in. And who better of a person for it to be than Denji, or Chainsaw Man specifically. The reason I mentioned her free falling and accepting her fate being such a massive moment is because the person that brings her back isn't herself, but the one regret that she's currently seeking, that wholehearted love that she's never experienced before. This is someone else fighting for her for the very first time, and not in a way that is malicious or controlling or disgusting, but genuinely just trying to save her without anything in return. She's never experienced this before. It's actually a big root of her problems when it comes to trauma, is that she has no trust. She doesn't like putting expectations onto people or getting her hopes up or anything like that. And just as you let all of that go, as she gives it all up, she gets saved. I don't think I have to tell you how big of a mental shift that would be for someone, especially when you see her try to deny it. She screams for Chainsaw Man to let go, that she's fully accepted it, yet in reality she hasn't fully accepted it. Her last thought was a regret, the one thing that would linger on for so long. This is where you get to see the absolute brilliance that is Denji, and how these two are basically the same person. They have experienced so many difficulties, so much trauma, so much hardship, and yet someone like Denji has managed to come so far and think so deeply about all of those problems in a way that obviously is very fitting for himself and not really for anyone else, but he's eager to help. A really simple way that he does this, just to get Asa's attention, just to get her not thinking about everything that's going on is happy thoughts. Super simple, super easy. It's actually what they teach you very early on within primary school, is that thinking happy thoughts would put your mind and your body within a better mood. It works here really well. He's talking about dogs and cats and ice cream, etc. And she's getting frustrated. She's trying to accept this fate for herself, yet someone's fighting so desperately for her for the first time. And it actually works extremely well because you see her crack. Hello, it's me. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd very much appreciate it. Do it right now. This cat right here, he's going into containment. He's going to be sealed away forever. I think Denji listening to her ramble and talk and just express how she feels is really nice. She usually always directs this anger and personal aggression outwards to the other person, claiming that no one has it worse than her. That how would Denji know what it's like to feel this way? And of course, out of everyone, he is the person that has had it worse. He's experienced so much hardship in his life since he was a child. And of course, Asa doesn't know this. But the most mature thing that Denji has done is that he hasn't explained it. He hasn't made it about himself. He doesn't try to redirect it inwards. Instead, he comforts. He supports. He props up Asa's understanding of things, showing that he understands what she's been through, and it provides a lot of validity, makes her feel heard, makes her feel comforted in a way, while he's twisting it to something a little bit more positive and not being solely negative. He's doing his best to come off extremely understanding, and she recognizes this, funny enough, that she snaps out of this stressful, chaotic state and is fully focused on Chainsaw Man, fully just taking in everything that he has said. I think there is a point there where she recognizes that this person that is saving her right now, Chainsaw Man, that is said to be the worst thing to exist, has gone through a lot. The way that he has explained how to deal with these things and like the hardships that come with it is accurate, and only a person that has dealt with said same things could explain it this way. I think she clocks onto that because her following question is one of improvement, that she is convinced that she can make it out of this because someone has experienced the same level of difficulties that she has. So the question, how do you get over that? And one of the most powerful, most important things that Denji could ever say is that he hasn't. He's not over it, only that he has something to live for now, something to look forward to, basically something that makes it all worth it. Even with these beautiful words being said, in typical Denji fashion, the one thing that is driving him, because she does ask what it is that keeps him moving forward, that he wants to be intimate with someone. And funny enough, it does actually line up with Asa's wants and needs, just in a more extreme way. She says, ew, like this guy is weird. He's doing all of this and dealing with all of this just for that. But in the grand scheme, it's not all too far away from her. She wants to have a wholeheartedly loving relationship with someone. She wants to be intimate. She wants to have that genuine feeling towards someone else. As you can see, their wants aren't necessarily too far apart, and both of them fill a void or a blank for one another. I've said this time and time again that Denji and Asa help each other quite a bit, and we've seen that within the aquarium a lot, where the way they talked, the way they acted, the natural feeling of Asa moving throughout the aquarium and how she acted towards Denji was the most natural we have seen her. We've never seen her act like that before. She was angry, she was upset, she was emotional, she was happy, she was smiling. There were so many different things that she felt comfortable enough with Denji and only Denji. And the day she finds out that he is Chainsaw Man changes everything, because she's got some of the most valuable information from Chainsaw Man right now that has genuinely saved her life. Not even just physically, but emotionally, given her words of support and comfort, and has shown her that it's okay to not be over it. It's okay to not have everything fixed and polished and cleaned in such a pristine way. But as long as you have something to live for, something to look forward to, something to keep you moving forward, you'll survive it, just like Denji has. I absolutely adore the combination of these two characters. Fujimoto has gone through such great lengths to bring them closer and closer together in such an intimate way. They are absolutely perfect. The more I see of them, the more I continuously fall in love with them. Even though the chapter ends here, it's scary to think where we go, because I don't think Fall is going to let this slide easily. Obviously, the purpose of Fall is to get Asa into hell. Obviously, if that doesn't happen, we have round 2 on our hands. We know that someone resurrected Denji. We don't get that reveal here. But if it is anyone that has known or planned for Fall actually being here, then there might be some backup on the way, enough to pressure Fall out of this dimension or to push her back into hell, so to speak. Asa currently is within the best hands possible. Denji is hanging on for dear life by her hands, not letting her drift upwards into the sky. If they can get out, they can escape, obviously. I don't know how that works with Yoru, if she would just zip back to Asa, or if they have to go back in for her as well. They're technically disconnected, but at the same time, it's more on a spiritual level, so I'm not entirely sure how it functions. It's scary because it's not over yet, but the beautiful support and connection between these two characters is growing more and more. I love how Fujimoto's handling it. I'm excited for the future. I want to see more of them, and the day that Asa finds out that Denji is Chainsaw Man is going to be iconic. However, I would like to hear all of your thoughts on the chapter, where you think it's going, how do you feel about Asa and Denji right now. Thank you for watching.